Hannah was a quiet girl who lived in a small town. She was always shy and didn't like to talk much. At school, Hannah was a good student. She did her homework on time, listened to the teachers, and got good grades. But there was one thing she didn't have: confidence. Hannah never thought about confidence. She didn't know how important it was. When there was a chance to join a club or speak in front of the class, Hannah stayed silent. She thought, I'm not brave enough, and what if I make a mistake? So, she missed many opportunities. In her small town, people knew Hannah as a kind and smart girl, but they also noticed that she was always in the background. Other kids would raise their hands to answer questions, but Hannah kept her thoughts to herself. She didn't believe in her own ideas, even though they were good. Hannah's parents were proud of her good grades, but they wished she would speak up more. They saw that she had so much potential, but they also knew that without confidence, it would be hard for her to achieve big things in life. As Hannah grew older, she continued to avoid situations where she had to be confident. She thought, I'm fine just the way I am. I don't need to be in the spotlight. Little did she know that one day, this would change. When Hannah went to university, everything changed. The university was big and full of new faces. Hannah felt small and alone in this new place. She saw students who were confident, who walked with their heads held high and spoke clearly in class. These students were making friends quickly, joining clubs, and taking part in events. Hannah noticed how their confidence helped them succeed. In her first week, Hannah attended a class where the professor asked a question. Hannah knew the answer, but like always, she stayed quiet. Another student, who seemed confident, raised their hand and gave the same answer that Hannah had in her mind. The professor praised the student, and everyone in the class looked impressed. Hannah felt a pang of regret. She thought, that could have been me. Days passed, and Hannah continued to watch others succeed. She saw them give presentations, lead group projects, and speak in front of large audiences. Hannah started to realize that confidence was more than just talking loudly. It was about believing in yourself and your ideas. She thought about all the opportunities she had missed because she was too afraid to speak up. One day, there was an announcement about a big event on campus. It was a competition where students could present their ideas in front of a panel of judges. The winner would get a chance to work on a special project with the university. Hannah knew she had a good idea for the competition, but she felt scared. She thought, what if I forget my words? What if people laugh at me? That night, Hannah couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the competition. She realized that if she didn't take this chance, she would keep missing out on important opportunities. For the first time, Hannah understood how much confidence could change her life. She made a decision. She would start working on building her confidence, no matter how hard it seemed. Hannah's decision to build her confidence was the first step on a new journey. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was determined to change. The next day, she went to the university library and borrowed books about confidence and self-esteem. She read stories of people who had overcome their fears, and she took notes on tips and techniques for building confidence. One of the first things Hannah learned was that confidence starts from within. It wasn't just about speaking loudly or standing tall. It was about believing in her own worth. She realized that she had been doubting herself for too long. Hannah wrote down positive affirmations like, "I am capable," and "My ideas matter," and she repeated them every morning. The university offered a public speaking class that Hannah decided to join. On the first day, she was nervous. Her hands were shaking, and she felt like everyone could see how scared she was. But she remembered her affirmations and took a deep breath. The instructor, a kind and experienced speaker, welcomed everyone and explained that many people feel nervous about speaking in front of others. This made Hannah feel a bit better. She wasn't alone in her fear. The class was challenging, but it was exactly what Hannah needed. Each week, the students had to give short speeches on different topics. At first, Hannah's voice was quiet, and she often lost her place in her notes. But she didn't give up. She practiced her speeches in front of the mirror at home, and sometimes even in front of her roommate, who encouraged her and gave her feedback. With each speech, Hannah noticed small improvements. Her voice became stronger, and she started to feel more comfortable speaking in front of the class. The instructor gave her tips on how to stand confidently, how to make eye contact, and how to use her hands to express her ideas. Hannah soaked in all the advice and worked hard to apply it. Outside of class, Hannah looked for other ways to build her confidence. She joined a debate club where students discussed different topics and learned to defend their opinions. At first, Hannah was hesitant to speak up, but she pushed herself to contribute to the discussions. The more she spoke, the more she realized that her ideas were just as valuable as anyone else's. One day, the club held a small debate competition. Hannah felt nervous, but she also felt ready. She had prepared well, and she believed in what she was going to say. When it was her turn to speak, Hannah walked to the front of the room with her head held high. She presented her arguments clearly and confidently. For the first time, she felt proud of herself, not just for winning the debate, but for taking the risk and pushing herself beyond her comfort zone. As weeks turned into months, Hannah's confidence continued to grow. She started to volunteer for leadership roles in her classes and clubs. She even began to make new friends, something that had always been difficult for her. People noticed the change in Hannah. She was still the kind, thoughtful person she had always been, but now there was a new spark in her. She was no longer the girl who stayed silent in the background. Hannah was becoming a confident young woman who believed in herself. The day of the big university competition finally arrived. Hannah had worked hard on her idea, and she felt ready to present it. She stood in front of the panel of judges, her classmates, and other students who had come to watch. Her heart was pounding, but she reminded herself of how far she had come. She began her presentation with a smile, speaking clearly and passionately about her idea. As she spoke, she could see the judges nodding, and she felt a sense of accomplishment. Hannah knew she had done her best, and for the first time, that was enough for her. Though Hannah didn't win the competition, she felt like a winner. She had faced her fears, built her confidence, and discovered her own potential. She realized that confidence wasn't just about winning or being the best. It was about believing in herself and being proud of her efforts. After her experience in the university competition, Hannah felt a new sense of purpose. She had learned so much about confidence and its power to change lives. She wanted to share what she had learned with others who might be struggling just as she had. Hannah thought about how different her life might have been if someone had taught her about confidence earlier. She decided that she wanted to help others find their confidence sooner. Hannah began by volunteering at her university. She noticed that many students, especially first-year students, were struggling with the same fears and doubts she once had. They were afraid to speak up in class, nervous about making new friends, and unsure of their own abilities. Hannah wanted to be there for them, to guide them and show them that they could overcome these challenges. She approached the university's student services office with an idea. She wanted to start a confidence-building workshop for students. The staff was supportive and excited about the idea. They knew that many students could benefit from such a program. With their help, Hannah started planning the workshops. She used the techniques and activities that had helped her, like public speaking exercises, group discussions, and positive thinking practices. The first workshop was small, with only a few students attending, but Hannah didn't mind. She was nervous at first, but as she began speaking, she realized how much she had grown. She shared her story with the students, talking about how she had been shy and unsure of herself before coming to university. She told them about the challenges she faced and the steps she took to build her confidence. The students listened closely, some nodding in understanding. After Hannah finished sharing her story, she guided them through exercises to help them start building their own confidence. They practiced speaking in front of the group, talked about their fears, and wrote down their goals for becoming more confident. As the weeks went by, more students joined their workshops. Word spread about the positive impact they were having. Hannah's sessions became a safe space where students could express their fears and doubts without judgment. They supported each other and celebrated each small victory, whether it was speaking up in a class or making a new friend. Hannah found that she loved helping others grow. She saw herself in many of the students, and it gave her a sense of fulfillment to watch them become more confident and self-assured. The workshops became one of the most popular programs on campus, and soon, the university invited Hannah to expand her work. She began giving talks at other universities, and even in her hometown. Hannah's work didn't stop at the university. She also wanted to give back to her community. She started holding workshops at local schools and community centers. In her small town, where she had once been the quiet girl in the background, she was now known as a leader and a mentor. Parents and teachers praised her for the way she inspired young people to believe in themselves. Hannah also began visiting neighboring villages, where she noticed that many young people, especially girls, lacked confidence and were unsure of their futures. She started holding regular sessions, teaching them about the importance of confidence in achieving their goals. Her workshops were filled with activities that encouraged the participants to speak up, share their ideas, and support each other. Through these sessions, Hannah saw incredible transformations. Young girls who had been too shy to speak in front of others were now leading group discussions and organizing events in their communities. Boys who had been afraid to express themselves were now sharing their dreams and working towards them with determination. Hannah's work continued to grow, and soon she was being invited to speak at conferences and events across the country. She became known as an expert in confidence building, and her workshops and talks were attended by people of all ages. Hannah realized that she had found her true calling, helping others discover their potential and build the confidence they needed to achieve their dreams. She never forgot how far she had come, from the shy girl who stayed silent in the classroom to a confident woman who inspired others. Hannah knew that her journey was one of courage and perseverance. She had transformed her life and was now transforming the lives of others. And in doing so, she had become a successful person in more ways than she had ever imagined. As Hannah's journey continued, her influence grew beyond what she had ever imagined. Her workshops and speaking engagements became a source of inspiration for countless people. She was often invited to universities, schools, and community events where she shared her story and taught others how to build their confidence. Hannah's calendar was always full, but she never felt overwhelmed. Instead, she was energized by the knowledge that she was making a real difference in people's lives. Hannah's career also flourished. The skills and confidence she had developed opened doors to new opportunities. She was offered a position as a motivational speaker for a well-known organization that focused on personal development. In this role, she traveled across the country, speaking to large audiences about the power of confidence and how it can transform lives. Her talks were always well received, and many people reached out to her afterward to express how much her words had impacted them. But Hannah didn't stop there. She had a vision to reach even more people, especially those who didn't have access to the resources and support she had. She began writing a book about her experiences and the lessons she had learned on her journey to confidence. The book, titled Unlocking Your Potential: A Journey to Confidence, was filled with practical advice, personal stories, and exercises to help readers build their own confidence. It became a bestseller and was translated into several languages, reaching people all over the world. Hannah also started an online platform where she offered courses, videos, and resources on confidence building. Through this platform, she was able to connect with people from different countries and backgrounds, helping them overcome their fears and believe in themselves. The platform grew rapidly, and soon it became a global community where people supported each other on their journeys to confidence. In her personal life, Hannah continued to grow as well. She built strong relationships with friends and colleagues who admired her for her kindness, wisdom, and determination. She became a mentor to many young people, guiding them as they navigated their own paths. Hannah also found time for herself, balancing her work with hobbies and activities that brought her joy. One day, while visiting her hometown, Hannah was invited to speak at her old school. Standing in front of the students, she remembered how she had once sat in those very seats, too shy to raise her hand or speak her mind. Now she was a confident and successful woman, sharing her journey with the next generation. She looked out at the young faces, many of whom reminded her of herself, and felt a deep sense of fulfillment. As she spoke to the students, Hannah emphasized that confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you can build over time. She told them that everyone has the potential to be confident, no matter where they start. Believe in yourselves, she said, and don't be afraid to take that first step. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about trusting yourself and being proud of who you are. The students listened intently, and many of them were inspired to start their own journeys to confidence. After the talk, several of them approached Hannah to thank her and ask for advice. Hannah was happy to help, and she stayed long after the event ended, answering questions and offering encouragement. As Hannah walked through her old school, she felt a deep sense of pride. She had come full circle, from a shy girl who didn't know the importance of confidence to a successful woman who had dedicated her life to helping others build theirs. Her journey had been filled with challenges, but each one had made her stronger. And now, she was using her strength to uplift others. Hannah's story didn't end there. She continued to grow, learn, and inspire. Her work touched the lives of many, and her legacy lived on through the people she had helped. She knew that confidence was not just about achieving personal success, but about empowering others to reach their full potential. And in doing so, she had created a ripple effect that would continue for generations. Hannah had become a symbol of what it meant to believe in yourself, to overcome your fears, and to use your confidence to make the world a better place. She had found her true calling, and she knew that as long as she continued to help others, her journey would never truly end.